Hey everybody. Uh, immediately noticed that my background's not working. I had 5 minutes. Damn it. All right. While
It's a good start.
I'm doing great, right out of the gate here. So you may notice that my guest here today is not Lawrence. Lawrence has left us. We've moved on to bigger and better things. This one's Pencil Bandit, otherwise known as Elliot.
Yes. Yeah.
You prefer to go by that?
Yeah, it makes things easier. I get the number of emails I receive that say start with "Hello, pencil." That's
Hello, pencil. That's awesome. Okay. Well, for those who don't know, we are on the road to the Illustrated World Series, where, yeah. Sorry, I wasn't expecting my friends to chime in already. Great. So if you want to see that, you can see it on the Twitch thing. If you want to put it on another monitor, mute it or something, but you can see the chat. I can announce it.
Yeah.
We are being told by my friends that they are now hiding their pencils because clearly you're the pencil bandit. All right. So anyway, the Illustrated World Series is in London this year. I've been invited. I am shocked by that too. You've been invited. Have you competed here before?
I have. Yeah, just for the last 2 years.
Okay.
I was there in 2019, which was our last live one, which was my first one, and then came back again last year, which was going to be live right up until the very last moment, and then it was all put online, as Lawrence explained, and with a lot of amazing organization and sort of structure put in to make it all work and function. But yeah, it's a great competition. Like, it's a really enjoyable thing to do.
Okay. I'm I gotta admit, with the climate right now as it relates to the pandemic and everything, I'm sort of hoping this still goes through. I got tickets like 2 days out to fly with my girlfriend, and I'm kind of excited to do this, and so I'm dealing. I'm sort of shaking out some of the nerves and whatnot. Oh, hey, Erica. People are in there. Yeah. So
I'm trying to get this chat up. Right.
Okay.
My laptop's like creaking under the strain of it all.
Oh yeah, I figured
It's
out
like, you want me to...
that the streaming software also gets upset. Oh, that didn't work. I got so many things to adjust in this.
Come on.
Thank you for following. Dead Girl, I apologize that only your name was shown for the alert. I'm still setting this thing up. Doing great. Ooh. And we're being hosted. What does that mean? I don't even know what that means. Okay, moving on. So while we deal with some little technical issues, for those who are just tuning in or stopping in to see us, I have Elliot, Pencil Bandit, here, and we're going to go over some common questions and things and concerns and just thoughts in general about this big competition. Yeah.
I'm going to leave that chat, so I'm going to leave you to tell me what's going on in the chat.
I will do that. I will share. My system's already draining. It's fine. I have a 3-frame viewfinder for my drawing thing, so this should be pretty great. Yeah. Wow. Apparently being hosted means they're sharing to her channel. That's cool. Thank you.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, I think we left off where we both got distracted. Have you participated in this competition before?
Yes. Yeah. So, twice before. Once in the main
Got a bet.
live competition, and then once last year we had to do everything digitally. But it all worked out really nicely. It was interesting because it was over Christmas as well. So it was right over Christmas time, when Christmas was obviously really weird for everyone anyway.
Yes.
But then, at the same time, we had this crazy setup for our case, it was in our kitchen, like big table laid out,
Yeah.
big paper on it, like a bunch of lights and the camera set up and stuff to try and record full hour recordings of our drawings, so that eventually they got put head to head and like streamed live with the voting and stuff.
Oh, so they were actually recorded separately. That's why you guys had like that timer thing on your lap whenever you did the recording, right? You had to have like a visible clock.
Yeah, it was sort of like it was a sort of fine balance of in terms of marketing it. I don't think they wanted to say that it wasn't live, but technically it was getting streamed live,
yes.
But it wasn't. We weren't recording it live because I guess it was just one too many.
The experience was live.
Variables.
Yeah, I could see
the experience.
Yeah, more or less live. It was live-ish.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so you have participated twice. I have not. So I don't know how to segue into that, but I was able to pick Lawrence's brain the other day, and I'm kind of hoping to do that to you. We've all been interacting in the group chat that Mark put together, but I wanted to ask you specifically, and just sort of what you want to spot. What advice would you give for a new competitor? I know that everyone's been like, just take your time and everything. Be easy, stop worrying, but I'd like to hear what you have to say specifically. So.
Yeah, I would say relax. It's very as I think Lawrence was saying, like it's a very friendly vibe, and even though it's like people let out their competitive streak, but not in any sort of any particularly serious way.
Yeah,
it's all just banter and good times.
Oh.
But I think you also mentioned like, man, keep an eye on the time, because it's really bizarre how short an hour feels in there. Like I can spend far too long on just the early stages of a drawing, and then look down at my timer and be like, oh my god, we've got 20 minutes left and I have to color this whole thing in. It barely makes any sense yet to anyone looking at it.
So what I've heard so far is to definitely keep your eye on the time and try to move it forward. But as far as do you think you should focus, now this is just going to be a tactic thing, more on the illustrative thing about interpreting and communicating the subject matter, or is it stylistically representing yourself? I ask that because you have a very, very iconic style that I love, and I'm excited to see how it connects. Aside from what I've seen of your previous works, spoiler alert, I'm aware that Elliot's done this previously, but I'm interested in hearing what you have to say about that. Just weighing in on that.
Yeah, it's a fine balance, I think, especially for me, because originally I was actually drafted in as a last-minute replacement in 2019 for another artist who'd had to drop out.
Yeah.
Because I know. I don't know if you know Hatch.
Yes.
Have you seen him in the sort of competition? So he lives really near me.
Oh.
So we know each other previously. And I just seen on his Instagram that year that he was competing, and I was like, man, that looks so cool.
Yeah.
Oh, great. And I followed Illustrated World Series, was like, man, this looks like it's gonna be great. And then literally 5 minutes after I followed them, Mark messaged me and said, hey, your stuff looks cool. We've actually had somebody drop out.
Right.
Can you help us? Here?
That's awesome. You have to be the ringer.
Which was great. But I think, bringing it back to how style sort of is part of the competition. I think with getting drafted in last minute, I'm sort of an outlier style-wise sometimes, because a lot of the artists are like yourself, sort of quite very exaggerated and like detailed, and lots of street artists and people who do big murals and stuff like that, which is not my background really at all.
Right.
I've sort of come from like cartooning and animation and sort of stripping characters back to their simplest sort of shapes and things like that. So
that is something that a lot of artists strive for, and really hard to get.
Yeah.
So like I admire those who have that stroke economy, that line economy, and actually figure out how to, you know, I mean, just compare our drawings thus far. I have 1 billion lines and you have like 8.
It's just a different like it's just different style and like different discipline or something, I suppose. But
Yes.
yeah, so for me in the competition it's slightly weird because I'm trying to as you say, you kind of want your style to be there in some respect, but I'm sort of trying to adapt it in a way to fit in with sort of what the competition sort of what thrives in the competition, which is something that's actually quite far away from my style. So I kind of pull my style to try and sort of closer to that without breaking it and making it look like just anyone else could have put it together.
Yeah. I'm already trying to draw like you, and I can't. So I'm just gonna continue with the other crap that I was doing. Like, yeah, this is cool. No, just in comparison, this is absolute garbage. You keep doing what you're doing. It's fine though.
That's good, man. I like seeing you just sort of vibing off it gradually.
Yeah. I'm just trying to, you know, I'm trying to dance with you, but sadly you do a pretty dance, and I'm mostly left feet. Very cool.
I'm all foxtrot.
Don't know why I chose to mimic that. Forgive me.
Don't do that out in the streets of London.
No.
Yeah, things will happen.
Yeah. I don't. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not dying in another country. I'm not doing that.
And this is your first time coming over to London. As well.
It is. It's very exciting.
Great.
It's terrifying. You know, I was already trying to figure out, you know, if Mark was expecting me to play some like, you know, wrestling personality from TV come over and, you know, dress up different and be the American that gets booed, but you know, thankfully I don't think he was. So yeah, well, we touched on style a little bit ago, and I had mentioned that I was going to ask you this question, so we might as well pop it off now. Who would you find to be some of your biggest influences artistically? You have a very, very defined style, and I'm kind of curious as to, you know, who helped shape it.
A lot of different it comes from a lot of different places over a long time, I think. It's one of those things that's like really hard to pinpoint, but but I think as a kid it was stuff like Dr. Zeus. I loved Dr. Zeus as a kid. I was bizarrely obsessed with The Cat in the Hat Comes Back.
Really?
The sequel to The Cat in the Hat. For some
Not
reason,
even the original.
For whatever reason, that was the Dr. Zeus book that we had that I like begged my mum to read me over and over again. Not knowing it was obviously an inferior product to the original.
Oh, maybe.
But yeah, lots of Dr. Zeus, and then as I grew up, I started reading like Gary Larson comics. You know Gary Larson?
Yeah, Far Side.
Just love his whole style, and his sense of humor is just so strange. And I was also like talking about animation. I was just obsessed with animation, particularly obsessed with stop motion and Aardman animations and Wallace and Gromit, all that kind of stuff. So I think there's a bit of sort of claymation that creeps its way in a way.
I can see that.
And then, like, obviously in more recent years, stuff like Adventure Time really blew my mind when that first arrived. And I was like, oh my god! But partly because it was like, it sort of half looked like something I would doodle in a margin. It was like, that's kind of not It's like somebody's turned doodles into a show. What's happening?
Right.
So yeah, all of that.
Those are some
sort of
great
smushed
influences,
together.
man. I would say that you'd be hard pressed to find people who weren't at least touched by that style, you know. Appropriately though, growing up, you know. So, you have a very like folksy, almost wooden toy look to a lot of your stuff too. Like a very like, you know, like it looks like it takes up space 3D. It looks like it's something tangible. You know, I really like that.
Yeah. And they've got these dead eyes, these big round dead eyes for some reason.
Look at the dead eyes.
I don't know where that came from really. One thing that I did that really helped my style form in like a natural way rather than plugging things into it artificially was in 2014, I think. I did a thing where I did a doodle every day and posted it on Instagram. This was back when I had like no real following particularly,
right.
Just a small little following, but it was just like an experiment for myself really.
Yeah.
And I just, my only little rules were it had to be just black and white in this little book that I had, and more often than not I would base it around something from that day, whether it was something that happened to me or it was something in the news or like a bit of pulp culture stuff or whatever. And nobody was making me, but just because I had the project of drawing every day, that like forces you to figure out the most efficient way of drawing things, or it forces you to draw things you never would have drawn because I've got to draw like a big van today. I don't usually draw a van. What does a van look like when I draw it? Or, you know, there's some celebrity who's in the news and it's like, let's see if I can capture them in the style that's sort of growing. So I think a lot of things that came that I now call my style sort of grew over that year because and that was the other rule, that it was no pencil lines beforehand. It was just pen straight to paper, no planning. Just go in, and that really forces you to like work with your mistakes and stuff like that, I think. And I always churn that out if there's ever a question of like, what advice would you give to an aspiring illustrator? I'd be like, do that for a year. Right. It really sort of helps you figure a lot of stuff out, and without having to like try particularly. It's just something you can do yourself, and it really forces a lot of ingenuity and invention, I think.
Well, and that's a really good point about maybe using repetition as your way of finding your actual art style, because at a certain point you stop mimicking and you're just using the language that you know. You know, you're using the shape language and the colors and whatever, you know.
Yeah, totally. I think my guy is now going to attack yours.
Oh, okay. That sounds great. I'm going to be damaged by that person. I am.
Or you can defend yourself.
These are
the choices you.
That's the other option. Yeah, you're right. I could probably do that.
I don't know what my guy's in. Some big triangle outfit.
Yeah, that's okay. I will.
So did you find yourself? Do you know a lot of the artists who are taking part in the competition beforehand? Was it like a whole cabal of faces that you were like, oh my god, them and them?
Kind of. But primarily, a lot of the jumping off point was actually that years ago I had followed the Illustrator World Press prior to the COVID thing, and became aware of it, and that's what introduced me to a lot of these, the UK artists and people that in general I wasn't really aware of, and I don't know, it was pretty exciting to see everyone line up, and I was like, man, these people are incredible and they do great stuff, and they opened up the application thing. I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that as a joke, and here I am. So this should be great. But yeah. So you said Dr. Seuss and a couple others were some pretty sizable influences on you.
Yeah.
I really like, well, so Seuss was very much a story-driven illustrator, right? That was his whole purpose. Do you feel that you spend a lot of time trying to put meaning into your art, or does it just sort of come naturally to it because of your past and your experiences? Like, are you narrative first? Do you design the thing first, or do you just flow?
That's a really good question.
Well, thanks. I should have warned you about it.
Yeah. I think it depends what I'm doing, I suppose. I think that kind of stuff comes naturally.
Okay.
But obviously, within something like the competition, or maybe like an editorial piece or whatever, it is much more premeditated, because you know that that's something you're sort of striving for, and in the case of the competition, it's something you're going to be getting marked for. So yeah, that's much more sort of premeditated and pre-thought, of just like, how much story can I work into this thing? How many extra details or things to spot can I manage?
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Alright, zoned out here. Let me see. Alright. So it says his design reminds him of a Jack in the Box that dabbles in Dragon Ball Z. That makes sense. Yeah. You get that whole bit going. That works. Alright.
There's someone shouting Super Jail as well. I do love Super Jail. Don't think that's been a direct influence, but Super Jail's a great show.
Right. I don't think I've ever actually watched Super Jail, which I'm kind of disappointed by.
It was good.
Yeah.
It's
that was Adult Swim, right?
I've just been rewatching it recently, because I've not seen it for years. It's slightly, dated now. Like, I don't think you could really make that show now, because it's it's a bit sort of Adult Swim circa 2010, and you're like,
immediately
some of those
canceled.
jokes.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
didn't even get.
But the animation and the whole vibe of it is so great. It's completely freewheeling chaos most of the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, looks brilliant. So sort of scrappy and super hand drawn stuff.
Oh God, the little dude running.
I don't really know where he's coming from.
I don't know. I'm just amazed that he's getting it. He's going as fast as he can.
He's coming in. He's coming in fast.
Yeah.
Do you have any real Hallmark influences yourself?
Ooh. Yeah,
that you're like, yeah, that was it. That was a real moment in time. That.
Damn it. I really liked Bill Watterson. I'm a pretty huge fan of Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh yes,
that sort of thing. But that bit.
Ooh. Oh, amazing.
I have the least macho tattoo on what's supposed to be the macho part of people. It's fine. It's fine.
That looks great.
But that was a pretty big influence on me. Primarily, I think, with how playful it could be. You know what I mean? I really like the old the old what is it, Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers, the old things from the 70s and the 80s.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Obviously, our Crumb, which we discussed. But as far as actual, I liked. All right, so one summer, I decided that I wanted to take some things seriously, right? And I spent a lot of time prior to that drawing, sure, but also just consuming art and not understanding why I was so in love with certain things. And what ended up happening is I went to I put a folder on my desktop and I would just toss any image in there that I thought looked cool, that I spent more than 20 seconds looking at. I would just toss it in there.
Yeah.
And then later on, I spent probably a couple hours going through it and actually editing the photos and circling the things I liked. Being like, why do I like this? Or like trying to articulate what I liked. So things like Joe Madureira, the old Battle Chasers comic artist. He did a lot of other things. I like the knuckles that he has on the hands he draws. So anytime that I draw a hand, it tends to be like that, like giant square knuckle, fist thing. And I really liked. Turn around. Let me see. I really like Sean Aber. He does great work. He's back there. God, honestly, it was just a lot of really old comics. I grew up on really, really old comics.
Yeah, you can definitely feel that coming through.
I'm disappointed in my drawing. I stopped paying attention. Just completely stopped paying attention. Good lord. Let's see. So one of the things that was some of the juicier bits that we got into discussing with Lawrence, who was, he was very patient with me as we tried to define rivalries just to make it hilarious. Who would you see as being one of your biggest challenges this year?
Oh, whoever I'm drawn up against first.
That's very humble.
That'll be my big.
Nice cop out.
That'll be my big.
That's fine. I couldn't answer that either. Yeah. That's fine.
Absolute cop out.
That's fine. You're very polite.
I don't know. I think my biggest challenges are sort of everybody really, because as I say, I feel like I'm slightly on an outside sort of step with the way my style works. So I'm always sort of like coming into this slightly different world. So
that might give you some definite leg up though.
Sorry.
That might give you a leg up though, depending on how they handle this. So.
Could do. Yeah, you never know. I love like King Trow stuff is really great.
Yeah.
Yeah, my greatest competition are the people I just think are great, and I'm like, I don't really know if I'm going to be able to touch you.
Right.
Although I don't quite know who's in the traditional side or the digital side. I've not fully kept track of it, so it's going to be a little bit of a surprise sort of on the day, finding out, oh, you guys are over in the digital side. Because it might mean that some people have got torn away, because isn't Alex Solis is now in the digital side?
Yeah, he is.
Right? So I'm free of that.
Yeah, you are. Good job. Now I got to go convince Mark to let me draw with pencil and paper now or something. Be like, can we just do something different?
Yeah.
I mean, I was all right with it before, just because it wasn't everyone is people that I admired. There are some people that I don't know, and then he was like, no, we're going to increase the amount of people that you're afraid of, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Because honestly, as I said, there's no real way to predict how this thing goes. And, as we said on the last interview, it's, it could be anything. However, art's very subjective anyway. But,
yeah.
And I love your stuff, so I'm honestly really looking forward to seeing what you create. That's more what I'm excited about is being in a place with that much, creativity floating around.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's half of it, is just seeing what insane headlines have been drawn up and seeing how people respond to it.
Yeah.
Like Lawrence getting Jeremy Corbyn last time. I literally remember him talking to me and being like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet. I mean, I was pretty amazed at the support network that Lawrence mentioned having for this sort of thing. He was like, I called my wife and we discussed the plan. I was like, you have a team somewhere? Did you guys?
Yeah. Yeah, Lawrence has got a full boardroom full of people who are coming up with all his ideas. He just calls through to them and they workshop it through. They bounce ideas off each other. Right. They punch it up. Yeah,
I mean, I was sort of going about this just hoping, just to be like, well, I left here with some friends. That's pretty cool, But it also sort of registered.
Hearing that did give me an idea. I was like, well, I need to start workshopping. Well, I need to bring somebody along and start workshopping with them the second I get my topic.
Right. I'm gonna hire a team of people.
Yeah.
I've
got a team. I've got a writer's room now.
Yeah, right. You just have like a giant, earbud hanging out of your ear. I was like, no, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm just talking to my people.
Yeah.
That will be hilarious. Yeah. Can you stop pitching dicks?
Yeah.
We're not doing this.
Yeah, right. We're not allowed to do those apparently, which is hilarious as to how many people are complaining in the place or in the room about no longer being able to draw penises. I'm looking forward to somebody potentially just burning everything down and going, no, I'm drawing a penis, and watching Samsung get angry, and it's gonna be great.
To be fair, I don't think I've seen dicks in the competition.
No.
You see some slightly raunchy stuff, but I don't remember seeing anyone just pull out a big old dick.
I don't know, man. I mean, Ewan was around. Maybe. It's always possible. I don't know what the hell I'm drawing anymore. Weird. Oops. I can't move that because that's lined up with the screen. Let's see. I'm gonna see what's going on. Apparently, we have people wanting there to be hidden phalluses everywhere, sort of like the old Disney movies. You get like a castle in the background that's strangely phallic, and the staircase is a little veiny. It's fine.
That's a whole nother game.
Yeah. We're not. It's a rather offensive game. Hide the penis. Yeah. Let's see.
It's actually a British pastime.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, big time.
I mean, there are many of you. There are a lot of people in England. I don't know.
We've got to come up with some games to entertain ourselves, Some of those are hide the penis.
I mean, naturally. But with the accent, it just seems alright. You just go along with it. You're like, oh, sure, okay.
You just get away with it.
Yeah, it's fine. It sounds educated. Let's see if we have anything else. Oh, what is your favorite medium? Like I see you working digitally here with me, but.
Yeah, it was a funny thing actually with the digital competition coming in. I was very tempted. Stow the knob. Yeah, that's what it's called over here.
Yeah, I see bangers and mash as being the other idea for it. So apparently that's a thing.
Yeah, with the digital competition, I was like, oh, maybe I should do that because, yeah, I work almost entirely digitally. It's nice doing the competition to get back to pen and paper, but I do everything digitally. So I was like, maybe that's where I should go. But then I don't have like an iPad Pro or a Samsung thing that could install that app to practice on. I've got nothing like that. So, and we've got to use that sort of sponsor app. So I was like, I would have to turn up on the day with some app I've never used.
Yeah, I need half an hour of
Destroy,
privacy, just so I can try to
Yeah.
figure out the brush
Just
engine.
give me a second.
It's gonna be great. Don't hit start yet.
So yeah, I shied away from that. I think Mark was like, "Are you sure?
Yeah.
We could really use some more digital people." I was like,
Are you sure you want to take up that coveted
you're
spot
right.
over there? Are you sure?
I know how a pen and paper works, so I'm gonna stick to that.
Right.
But yeah, I can't do without Control Z these days.
Yeah. Me either.
Right, I've given him a little penis to hide.
Yeah, I saw that. Good thing. We're not
Inspired
at
by
the
this.
thing, so it's fine.
This is okay. Well, this is the kind of thing that I'm like, this you're just leaning into it just a little bit,
Yes.
but it's not graphic. You could get away with this, I would say.
I like the idea of having something that you start drawing just to fuck with the people who made the rules for the thing. You know, they're like, oh, okay, okay. They don't notice the entire silhouette.
Have you seen?
You know.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, okay.
Have you seen Alex Solis's series of things like that?
Yes.
Where he
Yes, I have.
starts drawing something incredibly offensive looking.
Yeah.
That's a great little series.
Yeah, that was my. God, when was he announced? Yesterday? Last night? Yeah, that was my
Yeah,
my phone call to my girl about being like, baby, we should cancel. Never mind. I'm gonna go in there with
I figured he had
like a hat with a bunch of, you know, I have a hat with all these pins that I like, and half of them are like his. I'm like, oh God.
Oh my God!
Like,
Wow.
I can't bring the hat anymore. Can't do it.
Yeah, he was stiff competition last time.
I bet.
I was glad I didn't come anywhere near to where he was.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to witnessing that directly. Maybe I'll make it long enough to be taken out by him. That'd be great.
You never know as well. Maybe he'll get knocked out straight away. There can be some upsets like that.
Oh, maybe. Well, I mean, I won't do it, but you know, it's fine. Yeah, maybe he'll get confused, think he's on the traditional side, and
Oh yeah.
and then
You can only hope.
and then Lawrence will try to stab him, and it'll all come out in the wash. It's a good idea. My brain's not-
I'm enjoying this fight to the death that's going on now. This is good.
Yeah, I'm not sure how I'm actually fighting anything. I'm just sort of like getting blown up, and part of my chest is falling off. And
Yeah, it's also like like your characters sort of concocted this themselves through whatever frying pan
yeah,
style
yeah,
creation they've made.
yeah. It seems to be a little brought upon themselves. So I'm not really sure what's happening anymore.
Is this a metaphor for something? Should we be concerned?
Show me on the pan where they touched you. I don't fucking know anymore.
This is good. I like this. Should we this feels like a good image here.
Okay.
Should we slide it off and start a second one? How much longer?
Sure,
we got?
sure. Let's go ahead. We can do that. I'll just actually just give us both. Let's see if I can figure this out. Yeah. Nope. That's a mouse. Yep. Let's turn that on. Alright. Kill that. And you can turn your visibility off if you want. Or not. We'll just have the whole screen, I guess. There you go.
There we go.
And
There we
this
go.
one should be assigned to you. There you go.
Oh yeah, great.
Alright.
Round two.
Round two. Now that I know that we're actually fighting. Okay.
Okay.
A boxing glove? Pretty sure that's a boxing glove.
Yeah, I'm going straight in. I'm going really literal now that we're
Me
just
too.
fighting. So do you have any particular British tourist things that you're like, got to do that straight away
Yes,
when
actually.
you come over? Is there a checklist?
I am not particularly interested in the majority of the things, honestly, just because it's so. I don't know.
How very dare you?
Well, seeing as I come from some sort of a derivative culture here, it's sort of weird to be like, I want to go see the Queen. I don't know. All of your great exports come here.
Yeah, yeah. We just our best stuff gets just the cream gets put off. We'll export that.
Yeah. We just consume it through pop culture and just reduce you to a stereotype and just let it go, right?
It's cool. It's cool.
No, I really want to sound really cliche. I really want to just go have the proverbial pint, and I want to hang out with people.
Oh.
I don't. We were initially making all of these plans to go do we were gonna go to Stonehenge or Avebury or any of the castles
Oh wow.
or anything. It's just because I'm kind of I'm a pagan nut. I got my own beliefs and I want to go do crazy shit in the woods but I also realize I only have a week and I'll be in London for half of that.
Yeah. And yeah, Stonehenge is quite a journey.
Yeah. Well, that and I don't want to I don't want to go out there and just get, all right. So the image that is sold here is like you see the artists or you see the people go like the Sistine Chapel, right? Or just in general, our vision of travel to Europe is these big iconic places. You got Big Ben, all of these, all these things that we're vaguely aware of because of movies and whatever. And the issue is that my nightmare is alright. So if you that whole Leaning Tower of Pisa, right? Everyone here wants to have that picture where they're trying to put it back. They're doing that angle thing. But the thing that ruined my vision of travel for a long time was watching was all the people that go there and they zoom out and they take the pictures of all the people taking the pictures of doing that. And now that just ruined everything because now I just don't want to participate. I just don't want to go do things where there's a bunch of people, So I'm trying to figure out what do I actually want to see, And more often than not, I gotta question why and I don't know, man. I got problems. I just really want to go have a pint with some people and meet some folks and. We're going to stay in the city for the most part. We were going to rent a car, and then I changed some settings in this VR game I play to be the other side of the road, and no matter how many times I crashed, I don't want to do that anymore. So...
That was such a test. That's good thinking. I wouldn't have thought to do that before, coming over to the US or anything. Just change the settings in the simulator.
Well, I was like, well, this sucks. I just run into shit. My girlfriend has a question. She says, we want some recommendations. What are we doing? What would you recommend? What should I see?
Well, I mean, if you're after pints, I can obviously I can point you towards good bars, good pubs.
That sounds good.
When you're down, I'll try and think of places that are nearby. You're good actually because you're in King's Cross.
Yeah.
So you're in a good nexus point for just getting to a lot of very different types of pub or bar or whatever. So you're in a good position. You could be in last time we were in Wembley,
Ooh.
which is sort of right out the southwest of London. So you're not nearly as central. So you've really got to you've got to travel to get back to the centre to find all those good places again,
Right.
or at least get enough variety.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got a good spot. What things should you do? I don't know, man. It depends what you're after. Like there are great galleries and like museums and things which are, you know, really interesting. But if you've got a really limited time, like maybe trotting around a gallery is like feels like you're wasting the time in a foreign country. I don't know.
Well, I feel that sort of mindset with it would sort of make it seem like travel is scarce, and I don't want to play with that. You know, I'd rather have it feel like I can come back, so I don't want to feel frantic to see everything. Oh, God, why do I hate this? I'm gonna make a new thing. Well, it's amazing how much I do not like my drawing. Here, I have an idea. All right, I like playing this with people. How about this? I'm going to give you another layer that you can play with as well. But what I'm going to do. All right. Well, actually, you probably don't even need that. All right. I'm going to go onto your side. I'm going to pick a very light thing, and I'm just going to draw some shapes. And you do the same thing on my side. I know you know where I'm going with this. We're going to do a whole Exquisite Corpse deal, right? Everyone has a version of this game. This is my favorite game, and I want to play with you. Do you mind?
Okay.
Can we do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so I'm just going to... Yeah, we'll just put stuff that like overlaps things and... Cool.
Nice. Okay.
Now I'm going to give you this layer. Alright, and I'll put a layer above that one. There you go. So now if you pick the latest layer up there, there you go.
There we go.
It should be set, right? I'm excited.
Right.
Okay.
Come on.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
And we're still fighting, yeah?
Yeah, okay, yeah. That works. Okay. This is good. I like this because it's so weird how quickly your brain starts making characters and things out of a mess like this.
Yeah, it's fun.
But just immediately I was like, yeah, that's exactly what it is.
There he is.
There's the guy.
I seen it.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So this is a game that I actually play when I go on convention circuits and everything here. And I say circuits like it's a lot of things, but it's really not. It's more just a couple little comic book conventions and everything. They'll have like the artist alley, and we'll go sell prints and stuff, or little pop-ups. But we used to play this when I was a kid. And I found out later it's what like a bunch of like, you know, artist apprentices and everything did for like a very long time. You know, to where they would
there's so many.
They would practice.
There's so many different versions of it as well.
Yes, exactly.
Like, did you? We always used to play the one where somebody draws a head on a sheet of paper, and then you fold over the head, and then you pass it around. Somebody draws the body to that character,
cool.
Fold it down, draws the legs. Have you ever done that?
No. I kind of like the sight unseen part of that though. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is great. And then you don't see what the previous person has drawn. You just have a a couple of lines that you see overlap to just gesture as to where the body ends or where the neck ends or whatever.
Yeah.
And the rest is just sort of a guessing game. And then you fold it out and see whatever horrific concoction you have.
We are creative folks. We have done well. Yeah, normally I would play this game with the customers or with the clients that were like looking, you know, you get a lot of people that are looking around at these conference or at these conventions for a way to spend $10, you know, a way to spend $5 when it's really hard to spend 5 or 10 there. You know, but they want an original piece of art. You don't want to give them your originals for $10, but you can play this game and you both come out with something.
Yeah.
And I like it because it gives you a chance to have a bit of a conversation and all their stuff. And you know, truth be told, I'm a bit of an introvert, despite the me pushing to do these interview things. I just like them. I will need probably a couple hours after this just to cool off and to not be social. But
yeah. Well, I think we all are as artists. I think introverts. It just depends. It depends where on that sort of scale you sit. Because I didn't study anything arty, but I studied acting.
Really?
Yeah, that was where I was going.
Well, dig into that, man. Tell me about that one. That sounds really cool. That's a really cool way to start.
Yeah, well, it was this sort of a thing where, coming off the back of school, I had sort of these two prongs of things that I was good at, and one of, things that I was interested in pursuing, and one of them was art, and one of them was drama, one of them was acting, and it just so happened at the cusp of finishing school and going to university, acting was the thing sort of at the forefront that I was like most interested in at that time, that it seemed like I could do something. And so then I sort of ended up pursuing that, and the art side became the sort of hobby. And then having gone through university, and I absolutely wouldn't trade that in because it was great, and I have so many like actor friends and stuff. And but
where did you? Which university did you go to for acting? What did you get?
Well, it was a drama course at university, so it was at the University of East Anglia.
Oh, cool.
In Norwich, which is a lovely sort of rural city where Alan Partridge is from, if you know Alan Partridge.
Oh, okay. I would nod my head.
Do you know Alan Partridge, Steve Coogan's character?
I thought he was just in a pear tree, but I guess it's not that. No, I don't know that one. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible person.
Oh, he's basically just like a British comedy character, and in the fiction of the character, he is from Norwich, which is just like it's a very like small, parochial sort of pokey city, but his whole like character is that he's a rubbish radio DJ. A middle-aged radio DJ who is just really out the loop and not very cool. And yeah, one little facet of his character is that he's from Norwich, and he's always like expounding on the virtues of what a great, cool place Norwich is. But it's just this sort of small little city that no one really cares about. But Norwich is great.
Obviously, not being from there, we don't really know a lot about it. But I know that we were looking at places to stay, and just amused by the differences in locale, right? Like, not necessarily making fun of it, but more just being like, oh my god, there is something called a hamlet. I don't know what the fuck that was. I thought people were joking.
Yeah.
You know, but like they were like, you can rent this lovely little hamlet. Or like, Hamlet. Like Shakespeare Hamlet? Like, what's a Hamlet?
Like that guy?
I'm American. I don't know these things. I'm really ignorant. You know?
Well, a Hamlet is really a Hamlet. Basically, you've got a city, a town.
It's tall.
They're that tall.
City.
Yeah. We base everything purely on the height of the building.
Yeah, right. The Danish have cities. The Welshmen, they have hamlets.
You got city, town, village. Hamlet is basically just the name for like a tiny
It's smaller
group
than
of
a
houses.
village? Oh, shit.
It doesn't even qualify as a village. So it hasn't even got a shop maybe, or it's probably got a post box.
My buddy is...
And that's about
my
it.
buddy's
And it's
telling
a
me
few houses.
that a hamlet is a small pig or an omelet with ham. We have figured this out. You were misleading us. Sadly, most of the watchers now are going to be American, so they're going to side with me about you making up words.
I am now disappointed that we don't call an omelette with ham a hamlet. There needs to be started.
Right. Oh, speaking of oddly placed references for food, that's the other thing I'm excited about is like trying to merge my American lack of taste with a proper English breakfast. That's kind of what I really want.
Oh yes.
I really just want to like
Lawrence.
stop my heart all of a sudden. Have baked beans for breakfast for some reason. Blood pudding, whatever the hell that is.
Oh no, I've never even had black pudding. Yeah.
Black pudding.
That's rough. Yeah, black pudding, blood pudding. I think they get called either way, but yeah, Lawrence was on the warpath to get a full English when he was over here. He was like that's what I'm after.
Yeah.
But you don't like blood pudding is a very like acquired taste. There's particular areas in England which like a blood pudding or whatever, but I don't know. Most people will probably turn their nose up at getting a black pudding.
Well, they're missing out.
It's a bit weird. But yeah, you gotta have your eggs, your sausages,
right.
Mushrooms.
That's his
tomatoes.
I'm not misreading that, right? That's his fist coming over here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. I'm just making sure. Oh, there. I see what that is. My friends are suggesting that blood pudding is delicious. I love blood sausage, and that may or may not be a dick joke. Thanks, JD.
Blood sausage. I've never had it. I can't say I don't like it because I don't think I've ever had it.
I've had the Spanish equivalent, like the morcilla and everything, but I haven't had. Obviously, never been to England, so honestly, I have a very ignorant background in cuisine, and my understanding was that a majority of English cuisines were like sort of flavor-wise designed whenever it was like, oh god, the Germans are overhead or something, where like everything's like a brown gravy and like potato lump and all these things of like it's just a stereotype. I don't know anything.
It's all rations.
Rations. There you go. Yeah.
We just kept we got rations sorted out, and we just thought that's fine. We don't need food any better than that.
No, you have kebab. Why do you need anything else? You don't need.
Oh yeah, you gotta get a kebab while you're here.
That's what I heard.
Cool.
But that's what drives me nuts because normally when I travel somewhere, I like to go and like I'm gonna get it's regional food. I want to see what what the locals cook. But everything I looked up was like we sort of just we owned India for a long time. So we have a lot of Indian stuff.
Well, we also, when you're in London, it's so like metropolitan and cosmopolitan. It's like going to New York.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like going to New York and getting a pizza. It's like, well, pizza isn't from New York, but
that's a fair point. That's a good way to put it. It's something on our shores. I understand that. Okay, so pizza isn't from New York, but there is a New York style pizza.
Exactly, yeah, and I think because we've got, especially in London, it's so cosmopolitan. Like you have so many different sort of bits of immigration and so many different cultures coming in that you end up with like a whole thing that kebab shops are massive over here.
I just like hearing people say kebab.
Kebab.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I guarantee your girlfriend's shaking her head right now. Like, no, you're ruining it. It's supposed to sound continental. There's some sort of. I'm a man about town. I am.
I
know a lot about this.
I mean, fish and chips.
Yeah.
Fish and chips is our real thing. That's what
I've heard, and I want to try that too. I mean, I've had the local renditions of it. I still want to, be that guy and troll people and return the French fries for proper chips and everything. But I don't know anything. We Americans call things odd. I just realized that you guys don't call them French fries, do you? You call them chips. This is dumb. I'm very dumb.
Yeah, it's got to be chips, man. Well, we would never be caught dead calling anything French over here.
No. Still got that going?
It's baked into our culture that we just can't give them anything. Not even fries.
Nope. Well, I think in America, when we got angry at France for some reason, we called them freedom fries for a little bit. I don't know what the hell's wrong with us. I would like to apologize for everything my country's done, aside from putting all your tea in the harbor, because that's pretty funny. We were looking the other day. Apparently that was a major thing, because the tea that they used was like these big blocks that you would just like shave off and like basically put the entire tea industry in the harbor for like a year. I don't know. Some weird fact in there. I'm done. I'm babbling.
I mean, my history is really bad. My history and geography are both terrible.
You might be American. That was a terrible joke. Thank you.
Sorry, what?
I said you might be American.
What?
Like, that's a terrible joke. Never mind. All right. Let's see. Got a foot, I think, coming in.
I'm giving your guy some little boots.
My little boots. All right. Well.
Little boots.
Not my little boots. Yeah.
My little booties.
So tell me a little bit more about the acting side. Tell me about what you were hoping to get into.
Oh yeah. So I basically got to the end of uni, and just at the point you get to the end of studying drama at uni, and then it's like, right, you can apply to go to an actual acting school to do your sort of post-grad qualification, or you are contacting agents to try and get an agent.
Oh, wow.
I was just at that point seeing some of my friends doing that and some of them not, that I was like, nah, fuck this. This is gonna be
hard.
This is just gonna be way too hard. There was I think part of it was like the knowing that I was like a sort of average looking white brown haired bloke. I was like, and seeing loads of my friends looked like exactly the same, like, in the grand scheme of things, exactly the same as me, and I was like, there are thousands of us all trying, and like casting is so based on like, initially it's just based on the aesthetic of the person. I was like,
that's true.
There are just thousands and thousands of us all trying to do this, and like, and I wouldn't. I'm like not the greatest actor in the world, so I'm just
right.
I'm not going to cut through this. So I was like, I'm going to cut my losses. And I basically switched.
That's a very grown-up thought to have. That's very practical. What the hell? You took. You were like, I'm a generic white male. No, I'm going into. I'm going to become a laborer.
Yeah. I think I just got sort of scared. Honestly, I was just like, I cannot see myself. I feel like the difficulty that this is just way beyond me. And so I just sort of did a flip where the art had been a hobby for those 3 years, and the acting had been what I was studying. And then I flipped it around. So I'd been making a lot of poster designs for like the shows that we'd put on while we were there.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I sort of pivoted into graphic design for a while, using that as my sort of portfolio with these posters for theatre shows. And then I moved to London, and I got a job as the assistant graphic designer at Soho Theatre for a while.
Oh, cool.
And then the senior graphic designer left, and I just became the graphic designer at Soho Theatre. You should go to Soho Theatre.
Yeah.
There's lots of great.
I would like to talk to you about that. Actually, we were looking at trying to find a show to go see. So.
Oh.
Yeah, man.
Well, yeah, I absolutely recommend you things to go see. Soho Theatre are great for comedy shows or like weird indie theatre or whatever. Yeah, they're great.
Sounds awesome.
And then I eventually managed to leave that and go freelance full time, and that's sort of where I am now. I'm mostly doing animation now. I'm sort of an animator, freelance on lots of different sort of things.
Well, that's a pretty great story, actually. As far as like finding out how you would have changed over to something, like to change your focus. So what I would assert would be pretty dramatically, but but still to find relative success in it, something that can pay the bills and whatnot. That's pretty nice, man. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
I'd say it was like coming out of school. I was always drawing anyway, so it was like it was just sort of the other thing that I did. Yeah. That I sort of decided to switch around to, but it all worked out. I put my money on the right horse in the end, right. I think, because I've got friends who are still sort of doing acting, and it's really hard, man. It's just so hard to get work.
Well, what's really interesting
and
is,
you would have thought that
it's kind of the same thing for art here too, though. It's like I'm just part of it's showing up, right? Part of it's just just having any horse in that. But it's impressive, man. It's a big shift.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it takes a lot of time. Like now, I've been doing it for like 8 years or something since sort of coming out of uni. So it takes a long time to sort of build up momentum and stuff.
Okay. But if you like the work you're doing, it doesn't feel like it's a lot of work, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. What am I gonna
We have designed something bizarre. We're doing great.
What is happening? What is happening?
The attack continued, but over here.
So, I mean, the other wrinkle to that, the other weird thing to that story is that the way that I was able to go freelance after working as a graphic designer was I'd made some sort of animations for a competition over here that's for a TV channel here.
Oh, okay.
Where they don't do it anymore, but they used to do it where they'd do a competition they ran where anyone could submit a little 10-second stings, they called them, to like go between shows and go between commercials on this particular channel, and they could just be 10-second animations, and like usually the only stipulation was it just had to have the channel logo in it, and often they provided like a bunch of like music backing tracks that you could like use as your bed for your animation.
Oh, cool.
And I entered that competition a couple of times, and I was one of the finalists both times. And all the finalists got their work put on TV as this sort of little roster of like 20 or 30 finalists. And they got played between shows until the next competition came around, like a couple of years. And having done that a couple of times, the channel got in touch with me because they were doing a whole bunch of little animated stings in partnership with Orangina, the drink. Have you heard of Orangina?
Yes.
as like a sort of summer campaign.
Okay.
And because I'd sort of done this competition previously,
Yeah.
and they knew my work, they were like, "Do you want to pitch for?" It was like 8 10-second stings.
Yeah.
So I pitched for it, and I won the pitch, and it was like a ridiculously big amount of money to work on these things.
Yeah.
These 8 10-second stings, so like 80 seconds worth of animation.
Yeah.
But this was back in the day when I'd not worked for any studios yet. I didn't have any like connections.
Oh, yeah.
And I also had this idea that I was like, well, I've got this opportunity. I'll just do it all myself. I'll just make everything myself.
Yeah.
I could do that. They've given me this money, and well, it's a bit tight time-wise, but it'll be okay. And
How'd that go?
and I wouldn't recommend anyone does that. You should always, if you get a big lump sum of money, hire some other people to do something.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
leave the country.
Yeah, I absolutely just drove myself into the ground making these things. But it was a big like learning curve, and it was the biggest bit of animation I'd ever made.
Yeah.
But the thing that it afforded me, because I'd been an idiot and not hired anyone else,
Yeah.
I'd just done it all myself in whatever the 8 weeks of time that I had to do it.
Oh my God. Did you say 60 seconds in 8 weeks?
Yeah, 80 seconds.
Jesus
80,
Christ.
yeah, about 8 weeks. It was madness, man. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I was literally like, this was back when we lived in a small flat when we first moved into London, and my desk was in my bedroom, and my girlfriend had moved in, and so like I'd be working on this thing like all hours of the day, and so she'd just have this sort of blaring light of a screen at the end of the bedroom, like all night until sort of 3 a.m. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was a ridiculous thing to do.
Sounds impossible.
But yeah,
How'd it turn out?
It paid off in a way because I basically, when I had to pitch for the work, I said to Soho Theatre, "Oh, if I win the pitch, which I'm never going to win, so don't worry about it.
Don't even worry about it.
Don't even worry. But if I win the pitch, I'm not going to be able to work here anymore. I'm going to have to, because it's just too tight time-wise. I'm just going to have to hand in my notice."
Yeah.
Basically.
But don't you worry, odds are way against it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It'll never happen. It's fine. And then obviously it did happen. And I was like, I guess I'm going then. Sorry, guys. Goodbye.
Oh my God.
Go find a new designer. Goodbye.
Good luck with that.
But the amazing thing was that because of the lump sum of money that I'd got, it meant I could start out the sort of freelance life without worrying too much about finances for that sort of first year that I was freelance, because I'd had this just ridiculous big job.
Dude, that's great.
Which you never get. You never really get a job like that.
Yeah,
they're just like, here's a bunch of money, we want you to make everything, and it's also in your style because you literally pitched it, so the client likes your style. That kind of stuff doesn't really come around very often. So yeah, that was the start of my freelance freelance life, which was amazing and like worked out so well.
Great opportunity.
But that was my footing, yeah.
Shit, man. I'm really glad that you got your chance to do that.
Yeah, it was cool, man. Yeah, it was a really great thing. But yeah, I do get flashbacks to that period of weeks where I was working on that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, we've all had to put a lot of work in sometimes, but I'm glad you maybe learned something about it. Learn something.
I learned something about where breaking point is.
Mm-hmm. You're gonna have PTSD
and breaking
with your
point
art
is
now.
Yeah. There was one night where I knew I'd totting up my next sort of mini deadline as part of the project I knew I had to get X amount of animation done in X amount of time.
Oh wow.
And I was like, okay, there's only so many hours in the day. I've got to. I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep overnight tonight if I want to hit this next little deadline.
Right.
So okay, I'm just going to pull an all-nighter, but because I had been pulling very, very late nights and getting like only 2 or 3 hours sleep, by the time it got to like 4 a.m, my hands were starting to shake.
Oh, I bet.
Physically.
Yeah.
And stop me from drawing.
Jesus.
And my eyes were starting to go fuzzy, and I was like, oh, I mean, I'd love to push through, but I'm physically, my body is sort of stopping me from pushing through.
You found the limit.
So
you found.
I found that limit, and so I was literally, I don't really take naps or anything, so I was literally Googling how to take a nap.
How to sleep.
I was like, what's the optimum nap time? Because I was like, if I can't sleep for 8 hours because I need that time to get
Did you go
working.
You do the Uberman thing. You were like, every 3 hours I gotta sleep for 20 minutes.
Well, it was that kind of thing. It was like, I looked it up and it was like, ideal napping time. You want to nap for 20 minutes. Anything more than 40 minutes, and you're going to hit a deeper level of sleep, so you're going to feel worse when you wake up. So you want to hit that sweet 20-30 minute spot. And so I did exactly that. I set an alarm, like listened to a podcast, and just went to sleep, and woke up 20 minutes later. I still felt awful, but my hands had stopped shaking and I could see properly. I was like, right, okay, back on it.
You'll make it, but you're going to be miserable, but you're going to make it. You're not going to quit today. That's sounds like a important thing to figure out, man. I think we all, when we're younger and we're a bit more invincible, we all find that limit somehow. There's not that much work to draw. Like, it is.
Yeah.
Especially if you do what you did. That's good.
Yeah, you learn a lot about yourself when you push yourself to that level.
Yeah. Well, what an adventure, though, man. That's a pretty great story. We have a request. I have a request. JD says, if your design came out of the closet at night, I'd be afraid. I wonder what drives its desire to fight. Give me a backstory on your character, man.
This guy.
But I know you got it.
I don't know. He's a pretty. Well, I feel like he's been augmented by this little critter.
Oh yeah, I can see that. Yeah. So the little frogman actually drives his desire to fight. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I think Frogman is like my guy is like just a big meat puppet.
Oh.
And the little frog guy is the brains behind the operation, who really knows his stuff. This is like the boxing version of Ratatouille.
Oh wow, okay. But instead of like figuring out that raspberries taste good with cheese, this is violence and okay. All right, I'm following. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And instead of like a sweet little rat, it's a hideous frog mutant thing.
But he's supposed to be on. Well, yeah. I mean, this is the one that didn't get picked up. I imagine that my character is just somebody who works there. That got like sidelined on the way to help clean up the previous match. The frog's not very smart, so he's driving his. I'm gonna go with Angry Pinocchio into. Yeah, the only lie that he ever told was that like he knew why he was fighting. That's why his nose is so long now. It just keeps keeps going. The first rule of Sentient Fight Club is there is no Sentient Fight Club. That's good, JD. Oh, you have a lizard mech. That's what it is. Yeah, that makes sense.
Of course.
Well, you have told me that your favorite is typically traditional, yes? Or sorry, it's digital, yeah? You find yourself working there more often than not.
Yeah, just get so much more sort of room to go wrong. I think that's sort of what I like about it. Although I do always start with a pencil and some paper.
Yeah.
No matter what I'm doing, like designing anything or doing an illustration, it always starts in a little notebook, because there's something different about the way you put marks down on paper
Okay.
to the way you
That's true.
put them down on a screen. Also, working quite small and really rough, I think really helps, because I'll start out.
Yeah, you do a little thumbnail.
It helps me get a shape of the drawing. Yeah, thumbnail kind of thing. Because I think if I start out with like a big canvas and I'm on my like tablet, I can sort of get distracted by the details really fast and not think of the bigger shapes.
That's a great point.
But if I've just got a little like post-it note and I just scribble out the shapes, and only sort of 30% of it is actually down on the post-it note, but it's like the rest is being held in my mind, so I'm like, yeah, I know what that's supposed to be eventually.
Right.
And that's a good little like sort of blueprint for what I eventually do. And I'll sometimes just like take a picture of that on my phone and then get it up in Photoshop, and that's just like my little faded layer in the background. A bit like what we've done here, of just like faded scribbly shapes to get a sense of composition.
Yeah.
And then everything else comes on top.
Well, I'm glad that the structure that we use works for both of us. That's definitely what definitely how I operate too. I tend to like to go just straight in, but that's more because I think I used to pride myself in my ability to draw without lines, and for the most part I still don't.
Right.
If I'm trying to draw something that works, that actually would like exist in space or something, then, or it's more important, then I'll probably frame it out. I will absolutely be doing thumbnails for the contest.
Yeah, you've got to, I think, especially because you've got an A2 sheet of paper, which is
It's big.
It's real big.
Yeah.
It's big. You've got to get a sense of where all that stuff's going to go on your page.
To some extent, I do find it more freeing to work on a larger piece, but I am severely intimidated by that, solely because so many people in the contest, they seem to just sort of like print it, just like one side to another. They seem to have just like this methodology that's been time tested that lets them create this heavily composed, very beautiful structure, you know?
Yeah.
So, kind of intimidated by that.
Yeah, it's tricky, man. It's tricky.
Yeah.
I've always got like my little scribbled out thumbnail nearby that I'm just sort of vaguely referencing just to keep me on track.
If you could act in anything, what would you act in? Like,
Could act in it.
yeah. If you could roll back time and actually do the whole acting deal, what would you like to have been in? Would it be, I mean, you, based on the theater that you were a part of, I'm assuming it would be something that would be more humorous than serious, but I want to give you space to talk about it.
Well, me and my mate still, we still write stuff.
Oh, cool.
Every now and then, and we've not done it for a long time, to be fair, but we have gone out on this comedy circuit and done sketches and things. So
like improv.
I think no written sketches. Improv. I would be terrible at, I think. but yeah, I think it would definitely be something like that. Yeah, I've always been a big comedy fan, and sketch comedy I love, and yeah, that kind of thing. But at uni you do so much different stuff.
Yeah.
Like at university I played. This is not supposed to be a humble brag in any way,
Good.
but I played both Hamlet and Macbeth while I was at uni.
Wow. So you played both.
Which is a lot.
Both a very small village.
Come called that.
I have learned much today. I'm just gonna walk around spouting that fact like I'm smart and multicultural. Did you know that a hamlet is smaller than a village? Also, that dude played Macbeth and Hamlet.
Yeah, you don't know. You don't want to know what a Macbeth is.
No, that's probably like even smaller.
Yeah, that's the smallest you can get. That's just one very small house.
Yeah. So you actually played Lady Macbeth? Is that?
No, Macbeth himself.
Oh, okay.
No, I had a Lady Macbeth, but yeah, it's those are a lot of lines to learn.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
the main thing with those. Jesus Christ.
And God help you if you flub them.
Yeah. Well, the worst thing was like I don't think I ever flubbed lines too bad, but my friend who I still write sketches with, he played Macduff to my Macbeth.
Oh, okay.
And if you know the play, they have a big sword fight at the end.
Yes.
And which involved a lot of like choreography with a choreography person, and we had big like broadswords that we were fighting with, which was so cool, the coolest thing ever. And we had this whole amazingly like choreographed fight, which looked amazing.
Yeah.
But one night, and this was the only night that it was ever filmed, because it was the dress rehearsal,
Yeah.
I drew an absolute blank in the same way you would with like lines, but instead with the entire choreography of this fight. So he came towards me with his sword like ready to go, and I was just like, I don't know.
Oh God.
just staring into his eyes like, help me out, man, help me out.
Feed me my line.
I've completely lost the whole thing. And so we awkwardly fumbled. As soon as you've not got any choreography, it just looks like shit. So we sort of awkwardly fumbled with our swords for a bit and gave an impression of what the fight was.
Ta-da!
I think maybe I caught up and we did the last section of the fight because it was quite involved.
Yeah.
But the whole first bit was just
that sounds really fun.
Slapping swords together.
What was the look on your director's face as that was going on?
Thankfully, he was probably shrouded in darkness, so I wasn't able to see the director's face. But my mate's face, my fellow actor's face, was a lot of fear. A lot of fear in him. That
I bet.
A lot of what the fuck are you doing? What is happening?
We'll do it live. It's fine. That does sound like an adventure.
But in the theme of acting stories, I think the craziest one was a friend. It didn't happen to me, but a friend of mine. This was in a production of another Shakespeare. This was in The Winter's Tale, and he. Cut a long story short, he basically fainted midway through the performance. He was playing one of the characters in the show. In fact, opposite the guy opposite the guy who I did the sword fight with, so he's had a lot of stuff to deal with. He'd just not been really treating himself well over that sort of 24-hour period. Gone out drinking and maybe he'd we'd never been weed smokers, but I think he smoked some weed that day and it put him in a weird funk, and then he hadn't really eaten at all, and then he got to
he was chasing something. He wasn't quite there. Okay.
Yeah. Man, it all caught up with him on stage in front of a whole audience when he was supposed to be delivering lines, and he literally just sort of went blank in front of his co-star and just tipped backwards like a falling tree and slapped straight back.
That's great.
Onto the stage on his back.
Nice,
he was out cold.
Nice slow fall. All right.
It was the strangest thing to watch. And then the guy who was opposite was just just called his character's name out as if it might resuscitate him.
Yeah, right.
And then he just had to turn to the audience and go, I'm sorry, everybody. We're going to have to
Technical
stop the
difficulties.
show now because we've had technical difficulties. One of our actors has shut down unexpectedly.
Possibly dead. We're going to try a reboot. That's amazing.
I really feel like you're refining my very very faintly sketched out guy. You've given him depth, punch.
All right. yeah. I think.
We're managing to make these styles meet in the middle as well.
Yeah. We're slowly like dragging in the middle. Like fine. All right, fine. I'll take some lines away. I'll do a lot nicer. I'll give him volume, but he's gonna have a wiggly neck. All right, wiggly neck's gonna happen. Well, let's see. What has been your most difficult art project?
What we do here is go back.
Most difficult art project. Well, I guess it would be hard to top the previous story of staying up hours of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably difficult in a different way, which is like sort of outside of your comfort zone sort of thing.
Okay.
But I couldn't really say what that is. Yeah, I don't know. I'm bad with that kind of stuff off the top of my head.
Okay.
I'd have to dig through old files and I'd be like, it was that.
Yeah,
that was really
no need to revisit it. What is your proudest one then? I mean, obviously, I'm kind of hoping I can one day see the Adult Swim-esque cartoony thing you had to do that launched your career. But
yeah, that was. I was very proud of that at the time because it all fell on my head and it was the biggest thing I'd ever done by a sort of country mile. And being somebody who didn't study animation, to have something that was legitimately, out on TV and I'd, done all the animation for it and it looked like it was at home on TV. It didn't look like
that's a good
an
feeling.
amateur
That's a good feeling.
production.
Like,
I was like,
it was allowed to go.
yeah, I was like, yeah, I can do it. I can do this thing. Because it was just completely self-taught in that respect.
Right.
I was very proud of that one.
People are commenting that your
I
characters didn't take any damage, but that's okay.
He's taking damage internally. He's got a lot of mental scars from this fight.
Okay, I can see that.
Okay, well maybe we should also give him some evidence that he does, at least in the past, he has taken damage.
In the past, not right now necessarily, but
All right now.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. All right, I'll buy it. Yeah. All right.
I think it sells the fact that he's also. Oh, well, he's got blood dripping out his ear as well. He's a lot of shit's going on with this guy.
But like internally. Okay. All right, I'm fine.
Yeah. But his sort of puppet master is free and easy.
Yeah. He's fine. He's just gonna get another one if this one gets much worse. Yeah.
Oh, live on this stream, I've received my Battle 1 headline.
Oh no.
Which I obviously I won't divulge.
No.
But
not allowed.
But what have we got?
Did he send it over?
It'll be in your email if he's obviously got to do them manually, really. So
that
might be.
That's true. I'll just see mine
Might
when
be
I see it.
gradual.
I kind of don't want to have it be.
I saw a. Oh my god! Okay. Okay.
It's okay.
That could be good.
Yeah, that could be.
That could be good.
Time to go research some things. It's fine.
There's enough. Yeah, there's enough room to maneuver in that. I've got a celebrity name in mind. Which initially gave me pause.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to figure out how I draw them. But apart from that,
I'm
that sounds okay, I guess.
I'm now guessing that I've been too casual with Mark and bothering him too much, because I haven't got mine yet, but I have this feeling that it's going to be like something that's heavily esoteric British culture, and I'll be like, oh Jesus Christ, like,
Yeah.
like it'll be like some like, Jesus, I don't even know. I can't even make a joke. I don't know what would be so far out there that it'd be like some local thing that's like on like every pub sign. I'm like, oh, I see, you guys are jerks. Okay.
Yeah.
Some complicated thing about Whigs versus Tories, and
Yeah, you're gonna have to draw
Some
the
Brexit.
whole of the shadow cabinet or something.
yeah, right. I don't even know what shadow cabinet. Damn it. Have you said shadow cabinet? I'm afraid.
That's just. It sounds more scary than it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the worst you could get is having to draw politicians, because that is like.
I mean, it depends.
At least
if it's something really really iconic, you can sort of milk it and just get away with like pandering. You can be like, oh, Boris Johnson. Look at this guy. And you'd be like, oh, cool. I don't know anything.
Yeah, Boris has got a lot of area. Yeah, you just don't want it to be some kind of an MP for some town in the north that you've like never heard of.
Right.
And we sort of know their face because maybe they're on the news at the moment or something, but you've just got to Google and they look really boring and bland, and there's no real area to go. That's what you really don't want.
That's true. I'm kind of midway between wanting to keep the stream going until I receive mine so I can cry on air, or
or call it now and have a good cry.
Yeah, right. Do I want to actually set up like a nice spot where I can sit down and have the things available?
Somebody's just I don't know if you've seen on the WhatsApp chat.
Oh.
Somebody's just posted on the WhatsApp chat saying, I hope my headline's about a stick man robbing a bank or something.
Oh yeah, we're fucking dead. Everyone's got theirs. I don't want to look. I'm not refreshing my email anymore today. Oh God, I just got.
You'll be fine, man.
Man, I just got super nervous, man. I just got like. All right. Well, let's see. We have. There we go. Let's kill that. I think we're at a pretty good spot. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say this is looking good.
Well, let's you sign and then I'll sign, sir.
Oh,
Can't let it go without attribution, man. That'd be a problem.
God, I need a smaller brush, really, don't I? How do I make it smaller?
Use your Photoshop controls. Bracket left.
Oh.
Yeah, I found out about that on accident, realizing I was flying through the menus, and I was like, oh, the key presses are the same. That's smart.
Oh, there you go. Real sloppy old signature down there.
Looks great. I'm gonna try to do the same. Okay. Let's see. That's what we got.
Yeah, nice one, man.
Yeah,
That's
This
great.
has been fun. I'm gonna export this really quick just so I can make sure we got it saved. I think that's correct. Let me see this. Ooh, we got a good review for our interview, so people dig that apparently. We've been doing this
sweet.
for about an hour and 45 minutes. This part probably about an hour and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but we got 4 days. If you're just tuning in, you're a little late because this is wrapping up right now. But in 4 days, we're going to be on some sort of live stream thing. I'm still going to talk to Mark to figure out how that actually works. But I'm going to ask that you post about this on your thing. I'll post about it on mine. And as happened in the last one, if someone messages you, the first person that messages you about this, let me know, and I'll get them one of the online tickets for it. So.
Oh, sweet man. Yeah.
So, figure that's a way to cross
let
promote.
me know.
All 6 viewers,
Sweet.
watch out. All right, we're gonna bring this.
I think we peaked. We had a peak of 10 or something. I think I saw earlier.
I think I stopped paying attention. I zoned out. That's when you bring in the dicks. Oh, yeah. My God, I gotta look at all this stuff. Why did this not? Oh, I had my mouse over the damn chat, so it didn't scroll. I ignored all you people. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible person. With that, we're gonna go offline, which means I'm gonna go hit the button for the stream ending, and then we can all catch up. But we'll see you next time. Elliot, thanks for joining us. Can you name off your social media things you want to promote really quick, and then I can send this out?
I am at Pencil Bandit everywhere you will care to find me. Twitter and Instagram are my sort of homes, really. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Go follow him. Go look at his stuff. It's great stuff. Go watch him kick ass. Ideally at the IWS this coming weekend. So.
Yeah, come watch the competition. That's the main thing.
Yeah. We gotta promote this stuff. Go watch it. Bye.